moving on to my number 7 player. This is a guy that I'm surprised is not getting talked about a lot, particularly because he went to arguably the biggest school in the last few years, or at least the last since I don't even know how long. My whole life, this school has been a dynasty, you could argue. Now, I think that kind of gives away the school, and I'm talking about Jermaine Burton, receiver out of Alabama. He is 6 foot, 194 pounds. He's 22 years old. There is a lot that I really, really like with Jermaine Burton, and I think he would be a fantastic fit in Cleveland, in this offense, and what we're trying to do here. Stats, 2022, 40 receptions, 677 yards, 7 touchdowns, average 16.9. 2023, 39 receptions, 798 yards, 8 touchdowns, 20.5 average. So, let's talk about it. Jermaine Burton. I'll just say it right off the bat. People can take this for what you will. When I watch Jermaine Burton, I see a lot of Chris Olave in Jermaine Burton. This is a guy who has inside-outside versatility, right? And to be able to play inside and outside at 6 foot, you have to be talented. You have to have a really good skill set. So what is Jermaine Burton's skill set? He's a great route runner. He's got good speed, right? Not the fastest, but the combination of as good as a route runner as he is with his speed, he's got great hands and he adjusts to the ball well. That is special. He's got tools to be one of these players that gets overlooked and not really talked about a whole lot despite going to a big school. And I think a big part of it is his stats are not eye-popping. It's not like the craziest thing in the world. But at the same time, you got to look at Alabama, and you have to look at what that looked like there. And for me, I like Jalen Milroe a lot. I think he's a really good player. But in terms of what they do at Alabama and the structure of that offense, a lot of it is surrounded by Milroe and his legs. And for better for worse, that kind of hurts some of these guys in the pass game. So Jermaine Burton, to me, is a guy that I would be thrilled if the Browns got. Just because of what I've seen watching him regular season, what I've seen watching him going back, looking at the tape, I think he's a great fit. I think he's a great fit. He's a guy that could come in and you could play him in the slot. You can play him outside. Again, he's a guy who you can use as a deep threat, but also use him however you want. He's really versatile. That's what I like about him the most. Again, speed, route running, good hands. Use him. He's really good, and I'm excited to see where he lands. I just think for me, the Kevin Stefanski offense, what we're going to do, I think it's a really good fit. Now, the cons, not great yak, right? He's not going to force missed tackles, but he is, now when I say force missed tackles, I mean physically, right? He's not a guy that's going to run through you. He's a guy that once you get hands on him, he's going to go down. But, in terms of being shifty, it's good enough. And those sorts of things. But if you get contact on him, it is what it is. But I love Jermaine Burton. I think he would be a fantastic option for the Browns if you punt on receiver with your second pick, or with your second round pick, rather, and you go linebacker or defensive tackle. And third round, I think, is fair enough for Jermaine Burton, depending on who's there. Then you look at that and you say, man, this is a talented player who you get. So I like Jermaine Burton a lot. I think, again, really good fit. Reminds me a lot of Chris Olave. But at the same time, Not going to say he is Chris Olave. I just think there's some similarities there. So, Jermaine Burton is my 7th wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns.